Just so you guys know, BVS is like the worst fucking movie ever. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Dog shit film. Keep that in. Don't tell him we had this conversation. He's gonna bring it up at least 4 or 5 fucking times.
April is Last of Us 2 Season 2. And the second game is what we... how would you describe the second game? How do we describe it usually?
Empire?
Empire? Okay. Yeah.
It's one of the times, in my opinion, like you say, great sequels that outshine the original or something. Terminator 2.
We talked about Halo
Alien, 2. Halo.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
But, as we always say, it's not The Last of Us Part 1 and 2. It's not Last of Us and then Last of Us 2. It's 2 parts of the same story.
Yes.
The Last of Us.
Which is, when they started doing the PS5, they labeled them now Part 1, Part 2.
Yes.
And this first season of the show kind of dug into the complexities that the second game has, where like everyone's on, like even people who are on a side that you might not be on are human beings. Like the kid that Ellie shoots in the back who's trying to kill Joel and whatever, like Brian. Yeah, Brian.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, oh, whatever. And it's like humanizing him for a second. It's getting you ready for that theme, which is cool, but then it kind of takes away from the unity of the second one being like this perspective shift, you know?
Yeah. What I'm hoping for with season 2 is now it's not presented to the majority of the public as The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2.
Yes.
It's all The Last of Us to somebody.
It's just continuing.
It's a continuing story.
Yes.
Like if you look at shows like The Walking Dead where they'll have characters and they die off and people don't, they care, but they don't care.
Yeah.
It's part of the story.
Yeah.
It's no longer going to be the same thing when things happen in this second season.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and with that show in particular, and a thing with them that kind of worked well, even though they ran into so many issues, was that like a character would die partway through a season and it would work and it would feel more like, oh, this isn't a big thing at the beginning or a big thing at the end. That was kind of cool. And I think this show will do that. I think we're planning on talking about our expectations, but also the changes that are happening.
It better not change anything.
Yeah, I mean, that game is close to perfect, but as far as you don't have a controller in your hand, they have to do things.
Yes, you have to expand the story much like they did in the first season.
Yeah.
With episode 3 alone, expanding Bill's story.
Yeah.
To give us 25-year love story.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I was actually looking at the clip of us talking about that. We never uploaded that episode, but we're like so on board with that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I know people that like a friend of mine recently watched all of them and I was like, dude, episode 3, right? I'm like, such a good episode,
Yeah.
Even though he would be like, ew.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I skipped episode 3. I'm like, bro,
Really?
you skipped like the best episode. And he's like, well, it was in Japanese and I couldn't get the audio to change back to English. He didn't skip it because of content.
Wow.
So he missed that entire episode because he couldn't get his app to change it back to regular audio.
Who are these two guys speaking Japanese?
Like, what the fuck?
That's fantastic.
The weirdest episode I've ever seen. It's just fucking Black Mirror.
Okay, so expectations for season 2. Go.
Spoilers, people.
Oh yeah, spoilers for the second game. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Someone's gonna get their veins bashed the fuck in. I mean, expectations already.
Do you need to go by?
I gotta sneak by.
No,
Okay,
you're good. Go for it.
Bash his hand.
All right, let's restart. So,
I'm gonna steal a joke from our cameraman.
oh, sorry about that. Do you need 30 seconds to make noise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave all this in.
All right, 20 more seconds. Starting now.
Expectations for season 2.
I expect to get mostly what we got from the game. It's more about what I'm anticipating they're going to expand upon and change. I think that's more the conversation to have. We could go beat by beat through the game and go, here's my expectations. They hit majority of the beats already in the first season for the first game.
Yeah.
And
enough faithful beats.
Yes, and and expanding, getting us some more great. Oh, we get to see some stuff going on in Jackson. We get to see backstories of characters,
Yeah.
them all being human, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what they're going to expand upon more. So in game 2, you get Abby's past, her dad and the zebra.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to really get some time with Jerry.
Yeah. Who knows?
We're going to get a lot of time.
I've heard nothing about the casting of him, even though technically you would have seen him. He's the guy you see when he says unhook her and then
yeah.
So I don't know. It's good.
It would have been great if they were faithful to the game and they made him like
torch him.
Like he
Like
looked totally
flamethrower.
different in both things. Like in
like
the
every
original,
time you see it.
every time you see it, like they make it look like the dingiest, dirtiest operating room in the original version of the game.
Yeah.
And then by Last of Us 2 remaster,
It's like the holy Jerry.
Yeah, he's dressed like he looks like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah, like instead of being a Middle Eastern Arab man like Jesus was, he's this white. He's this Obi-Wan Kenobi looking Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty great.
No, I'm expecting expansion upon that. What I really can't wait to see, 2 things.
Yeah.
Is going to be the hanging scene of
Ooh,
Abby.
okay,
That scene just cinematic.
So definitely season 3.
Because did they talk about this is going to extend into more than one season, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to see my favorite stuff. I'm not going to get to see.
So some of
for
the
another couple years.
structure that makes it so interesting is going to be gone, I think.
Because they're going to put both.
I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna open up here. As far as the spy photos, when season 1 was happening, we were like we made a couple of videos reacting to like spy photos, and we were like, oh my god, look, it's Joel in live action, it's Ellie. It's
I haven't
Tess.
looked.
Yeah, but the only ones that are available now, none of them show the Salt Lake crew. It's only showing Ellie's side when you see outside stuff. So it looks like they're doing disc 1 with Claire. And Leon disc 2 is going to be later.
That's fair, and that's probably the better way to play it.
Even though we always played Leon first.
Yeah, are you supposed to play Claire first?
Apparently.
Bullshit!
Apparently it's a better story that way. I don't know.
It does change a lot of factors, which is cool. Anyways, back to it.
Could you imagine playing Abby first?
And you don't even play the first game? Or is it just...
No, I just mean like in the second
game's...
one, like Joel's dead, and then cut to Seattle and she's waking up and...
like it's that far.
It would be like...
Why?
When you find out, like, oh, Tommy's the sniper, oh my god, you're reacting so much more.
Wow. It's like... I told you about somebody did an edit of the movie Passengers where it follows Jennifer Lawrence's side of the story as opposed to Star-Lord's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because then it's more mysterious.
And you told me that whole movie, so yeah.
Yeah, so that would be kind of cool. You're right, because then you're playing this new character. Oh, Last of Us 2. Okay, we got new characters, new story. Awesome.
Then she shows up at the theater because you're like, oh, Tommy, oh no. And she has Tommy on the ground. Door whips open. She shoots Jesse. And you're like, oh no, Jesse. And then it's Ellie. And then you have that conversation. Boom. You see how they got there. Like, that would be such an interesting
version. Because then
we just got distracted on a rabbit hole.
No, but that's awesome. Then you don't even realize Joel's dead until you're
I was going to say this all happens after that.
No.
Because you get everything all the way up to him dying, and then it would cut to Seattle.
No, you start her waking up in Seattle, and then you play through Abby.
So when they're saying, like, she wanted Joel dead just as much as the rest of us, we just changed that to him.
Yeah, you just have to make it vague enough.
Or that asshole.
Yeah, that scumbag son of a bitch.
Demon.
But it would be a really cool reveal because then you learn to like Abby, except for like, you'd be like, oh, when she's fighting Ellie, everybody would be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like the game's crossed over. Yeah. This story met up with, because you're so far away, you're in Seattle, has nothing to do with the first game.
Well, you don't even get to the fight, right? Because you cut away when she's pointing the gun at her. So
yeah, okay.
By the time you get there,
you're right.
You're fully informed on everything. Okay, let's go.
But then I'm just saying, then you're playing through Ellie's side and you get up to Joel Death and you're like, I like that character, now I fucking hate her.
Yeah, it would really test
Yes, young.
Imagine the strength of the line in that edit of We Let You Both Live and you wasted it. What is she talking about?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Tommy!
But my expectation, what I wanted to see, like you said, is going to be season 3. But the hanging scene, meeting Lev and Yara, awesome. I would love to, I can't wait to see that.
All stuff we're not going to see.
Just because it's so cinematic.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I can't wait to see, which I think we're going to get in this season, is the hallway. hallway. I
Oh,
think we're gonna
yeah.
get some of that.
Yeah, I mean that was
So,
the trailer.
Yeah.
With this show, I don't mind watching trailers because we know everything. We've studied it to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like picking that trailer apart.
Yeah.
Something that I regret's not going to be in. I regret like I did it. Something that I regret and not. I'm going to be upset that it's not there. Is when Ellie is doing her shit, going around taking people out, and she falls down into the spore layer with that one chick.
They might.
You can introduce spores later,
or everything grew differently in Seattle.
True, different.
They might be doing that apparently
because that is such a good moment of like. She's looking at like a deep demon again.
And
like,
the problem here too is like, especially when you get down to the Rat King, they're going to be stepping on tendrils left and right. Like
yeah, you got to change things.
There's constantly a horde coming in.
I don't like that the tendrils, they feel it across town. That was one thing that kind of killed it for me.
It felt like it was either for plot convenience or they really did want to come up with a cool new idea. And that almost seems more like a video game mechanic than a TV show mechanic.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you're really excited for some things that you hope are still in there, but also stuff that'll be season 3 probably.
Yeah. I'm wondering what we're gonna see with how much of the story. Where do we open up at? How long does it take to get to the inciting incident?
The scene.
Okay,
well let me
we follow Ellie and Joel into that scene? Do we follow Abby and her crew into that scene?
I'll give you my thoughts and notes on that. Is we know from photos that Abby is just a little chick, a little gal with no big muscles, which is gonna suck because like that was like
erotic.
She was yes. Well, she was like Ellie's Rat King. You know, she was this imposing. When she shows up at the theater and she's covered in water and like that was
beating the shit out of people.
And she's just standing over Tommy and she just shot Jesse in the face. That was when that was happening, I was like, this is my favorite moment ever in video games.
Yes.
I was like, this is amazing. It's here. It's happening. This is like Ellie playing with fire, playing with so much fire. We know these people traveled to Jackson to do a thing and she's in their territory and all the stupid stuff she's saying leading up to this and dumbest decisions she's making. And then boom. And like her presence is not going to be the same, but I have faith in that the actor's going to just deliver.
Yeah.
She'll be that fun Abby and that serious and emotional Abby. I think. I'm pretty sure.
She looks like just in the trailer, her looking over her shoulder at Jerry's grave.
Oh,
I'm assuming Jerry's grave.
Yeah.
It could be
it's Joel's.
That could be partway through Seattle Day 3 or something where she's already buried some of her friends. You know, that doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking practically. They're not there in the story.
No, but I'm just saying like that.
So
more than likely it's Jerry's grave.
But so those shots alone, her walking down the hall.
Yeah, the look back over the shoulder
it's
like
all
there's a
telling
moaning.
us. It's all telling us that the reveals are different. And we talked about this with season 1 about they're going to play reveals different. We're going to know about her and Jerry early on. Who knows? Those shots could be from the finale of the season. Sure. Could be the opening prologue of the season showing her walking down the thing. It is totally changing things. You'll have more dread for Joel. You'll know it's coming. That's interesting, but who knows? Also, there's a difference. People have speculated that they see Dina with Joel on horseback with Abby instead of Tommy, and that Tommy's defending Jackson from a horde. And so it's not the same.
Yeah, I did see the horde thing. That was weird.
Yeah, so that's different.
Yeah.
And then that gives Ellie double reason to find them, right?
Yeah.
And then
chocolate rain.
Some of the stuff that's a problem is like, oh, hold on. How do I put this? They're going to make changes that they wanted to do but scrapped from the second game. For example, Joel was supposed to be like, or Abby was supposed to show up and be part of the Jackson for a while. Okay. I don't think they're going to quite do that because they still showed that they're shooting at a mansion that looks like the one that it all happens at.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere in Canada.
Yeah.
And originally Ellie was going to arrive at a location and she gets there and Tommy comes spilling out the door all confused up these stairs. Oh, and falling over and he's like covered in blood and he's confused and hurt. And she goes down, descends down these stairs, gets to a room and Joel is like, hog-tied, duct taped, tortured, like brutal, and like he got his hand cut off. Like when they first meet, Abby was like standing over him, like in this different version. It even looked like that was pre-muscle Abby in the artwork. But like there was this like crazy darker what people think the scene was. Yeah. It was actually that.
Okay. It's the governor from Walking Dead comic books.
Yeah. Like pretty much like people. Joel went through a not a good time there, but people act like he was tortured.
Yeah.
He was technically probably tortured, but he was beat.
I've seen worse.
Tommy. No, but like, it could be that different. I think it would be interesting if they took his hand, like just to show how serious the scene is. And to me, when you take his hand, it gives you hope that that's it. He's going to get Luke Skywalker, you know?
Okay.
And it'll just be another thing.
Rigged him.
Yeah. And if they don't go with the golf club, they might not go with the golf club. And there was an early thing where they were saying, hey, what do you guys think about these weapons or something like on their
like
Instagram?
A focus group?
No, on an Instagram thing. And it said, choose between these two emojis. And I think one of them was a machete. I don't remember though. And one was a bat or something. And it might be that they were thinking about changing that around.
Yeah.
And if they went with the machete, they can go back with the old idea of taking his hand, and then it would be interesting. And the reason I say that is it's the watch hand.
Oh, okay.
The hand with the watch. So the watch either stays on, or it's on his hand, or it falls off. I just think that's interesting and more
visually
terrifying.
Yeah.
And like it severs the main theme of the game or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's one change.
I'd be cool with that change.
But then is Tommy going to go to Seattle? Who knows? Sorry, go ahead.
You were just making me think about how all the behind the scenes sneaky photos you've seen have all been about Ellie. If you recall back during the later seasons of Game of Thrones, they were purposely sending actors to different places to throw off those kind of people.
That's true. And people aren't looking for Deaver, who's the actor for Abby.
Yeah.
They're not looking for her. So it could be that all eyes on Ellie.
Yeah,
know?
While they're over here actually filming it.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
But
we haven't heard anything about Seraphite casting. We've just seen a couple of them in shots, and that's probably just them hunting.
Getting
down
more
Ellie.
Seraphite stuff can be so amazing.
Yeah. Well, and we have Isaac's backstory happening.
Yeah,
in this season, like
you get to see why he's on the wanted posters.
Yeah.
So something I mentioned
instead of reading
before we started recording, you told me to wait to talk about. You didn't play the lost levels in the Last of Us remaster.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
there is things where you're Ellie, you're walking around Jackson as Ellie, like a lot of stuff they cut, and like a lot of the interactions don't work. With like you walk over to the person to talk to them, and like because they didn't record dialogue and do all these things, it just gives you text or things like that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But you come across little kids and they got like bales of hay or boxes and crap set up, and they're playing a version of Marco Polo where one kid's either got their eyes closed or blindfolded, and they're a clicker. So they are going like making clicker sounds and moving like a clicker while the other kids are trying to hide. That's cool. That kid's trying to track them down. And I thought it was really cool that like if kids did grow up in this world, they would play games based off things around them.
Yeah.
And so
Snarks and Grumpkins and
coming to my castle.
Yeah. John Cole and Florian.
What's the crossing one?
Oh.
You didn't say Mayhaps?
Yeah. What's the crossing one?
Lord of the Crossing, yes.
Yeah. Anyways.
So that's a really cool thing. And maybe we'll get to see I would love to see that in the game. They take something from the Lost Levels, put it in there.
The boar hunt will probably be in there. Because like I don't know. I didn't play the boar hunt. Did you play the boar hunt?
I was thinking of Robert Baratheon dying in a boar hunt.
That's great.
No, I didn't play the boar hunt.
Because in my mind, I haven't played it yet, but in my mind, it's her tracking down the boar, seeing it screaming on the ground, it freaking her out because it's like Joel. She's seeing the Joel moment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's panicking, and she leaves it. Isn't that? I think that's what happens. And like adding that kind of stuff in because they kind of set up like a bear moment in the second game that never happened. And they set up the boar, but it got cut out. And there's all this bear imagery, a little bit of boar imagery. So who knows? There could be stuff like that thrown in.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll see. But like, what's interesting to me is the change in the show. Like, it's going to be a different show all of a sudden. We're going to start with a little bit of Pascal, and then gone. He's off to do Fantastic Four, and like, I don't know.
Which, by the way, I'm hyped for. And I've always liked Fantastic Four.
This is going to be a really good version of Fantastic Four and Jurassic Park. People should go see those two movies this summer. Those two movies. Anyways, I don't know. That's just a thought that I had.
Yeah.
That it's just going to be fun to see the shift. And like, I like to watch people's reactions online, like the next day or the day after,
Yeah.
just people who don't know what's happening. And just like look it up. And
Like,
like, ooh.
Tommy!
Yeah,
Episode
people-
3. It was so crazy.
People hated episode 3.
Yeah. And like, it was
yeah.
the best episode.
Well, okay. So here's something we should talk about. The reaction to the second game because of leaks and
Yes.
false information.
Oh, like what I had?
Yeah.
So
all this like Abby is transgender.
yes, because
or
people said
the context of Joel's dying, everything was like shifted and changed, and people heard secondhand that was already secondhand from a leak that wasn't even half true.
yeah.
And so
'Cause
half the people who hate the game, it's like with this film, half the people who hate it,
Told you.
half the people who hate it are talking about a different version of it. With this one and with a lot of movies that come out like that are big movies, theatrically the studio re-edits a film.
Yes.
But in this case, it was people's preconceived notion, which did happen with that too.
Mhm.
And you go in it with that, but this version is not going to happen. It's just the second season. We're
Yes.
not, the big storm of leak didn't just happen.
Yeah. And that leak came so close to its release.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading just a random line in a comment thread somewhere
Dumbledore.
that says Joel gets killed by a transgender or whatever word they use, and I was like, so then when I see Abby, this big built chick, that's a trans person, fuck, it just be Joel to death. I'm like, I didn't care. It was like good story. But so the whole time I'm playing this game, I'm like, so
You're like,
does Abby have a dong?
yeah, no. I saw a lot of people were going through it. Actually, some people still like, they get to the boat scene with Owen and they're like,
Abby's getting
and they don't
motherfucking-
know. They still don't know for sure. But
Yeah.
it's like, Abby's definitely just a woman.
Yeah, and it's just an obsession. The muscle is just the obsession of like something after
Yes.
the death of her dad.
Yes.
And then it
It's
turns
the
out
opposite of Ellie. It's like Ellie starves herself when she gets to that moment.
Mhm.
Abby built herself up in this defense mechanism of, I have to beat it to death.
Doesn't Ellie look so vegan, like just withering away from parts of it?
And that's what's funny is Abby is on, like, you see in the stadium, she's eating meat.
Yeah.
She's eating meat and working out and reading books. And like, she's just like building herself up as much as she can. And Ellie is like reactionary, like traumatized person.
Yeah.
And it's like two different versions of like wounded person. Just, I don't know. It's great.
Cut to Bruce doing his workout. Can't do this. It's suicide.
Well, actually, because Owen's like, she's like, you want what I want, right? He's like, yeah, but not at any cost. And then like,
He's like, I liked you when you looked feminine. That's why we broke up.
I'm so excited for their Owen.
I don't know who that is. I don't want to.
He's just a guy, but he looks enough like Owen. I don't know if he's as man-dime as Owen was, but he looks
Beauty.
like a solid dude.
Yeah.
In the way that Owen looked like a solid dude and comes off as a solid dude, which there was a line, maybe it was the when they cast Owen the actor, it's something like it said
Owen the elf?
he's a kind-hearted something trapped in a warrior's body. And I was like,
Ooh.
interesting. Like, and there was one more line in there about like the whole, his like, I'm sick of fighting over land I don't care about. Like that whole thing.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
And it's like, that's everything to do with the
Yeah.
Last of Us 2. And so like they have him solid. Owen solid, the character. So at least we have that, and that's all we need, right?
Yeah.
Owen,
Like I could picture Owen character if the cordyceps apocalypse never happened, he would be sitting in a tent somewhere in a Humvee in Afghanistan, and he would be like, I'm tired of fighting over land I don't care about. Like he would
yeah,
that's just that guy. He would be a warrior,
yeah.
but not wanting that life.
Well, we talked about this. This is years ago before this Middle East stuff was picking up again.
Yeah. Oh my God, again. That was all the time.
Yeah. And so we talked about how Druckmann is Israeli. And so
Yes.
there was a time, I don't know if they still do it or what the details are. I only know what I hear, and everyone reads different things or sees different things. So maybe it's not true, but like apparently in Israel, you have to serve in the
Yeah.
serve in the military in some capacity. So like a lot of what they talk about, the wolves talk about with the Seraphites and this like tribalism stuff, and I'm sick of it. There's so much of that could be coming from him, but at the same time, it's every 4 years in America where there's
the fight's happening again.
Yeah, where it's this thing happening. And like what's really cool is when he's saying fight over land I don't care about, Abby's face. Actually, it's when he's saying he's standing over a Seraphite and he's like, he just looks so old and tired and done and ready or whatever. Like and like he's basically saying he couldn't shoot the Seraphite. And her face, she's remembering Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Like get this over with, and then him on the ground and how not satisfying it was. And she's like, well, she's way relating, and then she goes into self-defense mode, like, oh, sorry, I grew up or whatever.
Yeah,
and like which they do. They just swinging back and forth between the pendulum that whole game of like learning and then what is it? Not devolving, but falling back on your faults or whatever. And that's beautiful. That's Joel. That's what Joel does at the end of the season, where he's just calculated man.
God, that was so.
We should talk about this. Remember, we talked about at the end of season 1, there's a POV shot from between like two doors or a door or something, and it's showing Joel.
Oh yes,
Joel
yes.
picking something up. I think that was Abby's point of view.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that. I agree.
Yeah, and so like we could have that same shot, and it's just like her going like, oh, like when she see like, hi, I'm Tommy, and this is my brother Joel. We just for a second see like. We just see her through a door for a second going like that. And like just right then. And then she does that little twitch with her face that she does. And like, oh, let's get that. Let's get like these little moments. Let's almost make people be like, oh my God, I understand her as she's doing it. That might make people like her sooner. But then you're already way more on board with what they wanted you to think towards the middle end of the game. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, this is a bad crusade. You need like, it would be a different like reveal. You know this is all leading to nothing good instead of maybe there's some reason for revenge.
And that also parallels the real world, like you're just saying, every 4 years in America, every other day in the Middle East. Yeah. That like we're just doing the same thing and it's going nowhere, and we all know this, yet it keeps happening. Yeah, and so people will know early on in the season, oh my God, it's a feudal battle. Why are you doing this?
Yes.
And you just feel that dread the entire season of why?
And then you see her taking out more people. She gets to Owen, takes him out. And then when Abby shows up at the end, you're like, I totally understand why. And then you see why.
Yeah. Another thing I just remember, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Abby's fear of heights.
Yes.
And her in that sky bridge. Walking over that crane.
Season 2.
I know it's season 3 actually. So, but that's another thing. Like every moment, I'm like, I can't wait to see this. It's an Abby moment. You can tell I'm an Abby stan.
Well, there's plenty of moments that Ellie.
Name one.
Really? Name one?
Yeah.
Her running into Owen.
Tommy.
We know that they shot scenes of them on the porch. We know that they've shot scenes of that party where her and Dina kiss.
Yeah.
So the reveals are probably different. And so I'm excited to see some of that. I want to see Jackson. I want to see her leave Jackson. I want to see depressing, dour, rainy Seattle.
Yeah. So much grunge music going to be in this season.
Yeah. Something in the way.
This grass.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a great meme because we're just recording this a couple days after the Super Bowl. I know you don't care about any of that stuff, but the
Super Bowl to me is what we were just talking about.
Is BBS to me. No.
We slay ourselves.
But there was a halftime show with Kendrick Lamar, rapper, and so many people like, I can't understand what he's saying. And it was hard to understand most of what he was saying. But
I
so
understand.
It's every white boomer guy online. He's like, I couldn't understand a word he's saying. And, so I saw memes like, oh, boomer saying this. And then their music. And it's Alice in Chains or whoever it is, like, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same exact fucking thing.
And tell that to everybody who change always comes. And like, that's kind of what we're talking about here is like, everything changes.
Tommy! When I first watched the trailers or images of the The Last of Us Part 2 game coming out,
which I did not watch.
I saw Ellie and Dina kissing at that party.
Okay.
And I was trying to theorize, like, okay, how do you get them back in the game? Just when they thought they were out, they pull them back in. And my thought was, that Abby or Ellie. Oh, I cannot ever get their name straight. That
Same person.
Ellie kissing Dina. Ellie is immune, but she kisses Dina, infects her, and that just spreads an infection throughout Jackson, and that's what puts them back out into the world.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong about thinking that, because initially, before they changed it in the second game, retcon, there was the implication that she can transfer by biting, because she bites James, and then he gets way more feral as that fight happens, and he starts becoming infected.
Shit! Okay.
Is the thought. But to make this game, the second game, which is superior, work, they went away from that. And whatever, I'll take the second game.
James is the cannibal leader, right?
Yeah.
Great casting in the show. I like that actor. No idea what his name is,
Yeah,
but I always like when he pops up in something.
Yeah, he's good.
El Camino, a small role in El Camino was great. Are you telling me to gave this son of a bitch half the money?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I said, shut the fuck up.
What were you saying?
I was just reminiscing on what I thought the game was going to be the inciting incident. Much better what they gave us.
Yeah, I think I had a feeling because I heard controversy.
And I told you controversy.
And I might have been, I might have been like a sentence or a word away from knowing the spoiler, like within what I'm reading, and like I think I may have kind of subconsciously known, but at the same time, that trailer that came out where he comes walking out of the whiteness and she's
and
it's like he's dead.
And maybe they're doing that with some of the stuff like you said, the leaks we're seeing could be just like they did when they put out stuff for the second game, like, oh look, Joel's in the whole game.
Yeah, who knows?
Like they totally blow our minds, and he's in the entire thing. He doesn't. That's not the inciting incident.
They should have hired Pedro for like an extra day to show up to where they were shooting Seattle stuff and have him and Ellie walking around, like out in the open, so they can get photos of it.
There's like big bright lights on him.
So good.
He's not even really in character. Like he's looking like Mr. Fantastic.
You know, in the fake trailer, real trailer, where she turns and said, "What are you doing here?" and it's Joel, and he's just looking at her.
Yeah, when he's
supposed to be Jesse. If they shot that in live action
trailer
and put it in the trailer, oh god,
everybody like, "Fuck you, Druckmann." We'd be like, "He's a genius."
Beautiful. One thing to add, channel recommendation: Sapphicated. Since we started making videos, it's this channel. It used to be, I think they were The Last of Us Explained, but now they're Sapphicated. Really good channel, super in-depth analysis on Abby, Ellie, everything. It's super good.
They could totally give us a whole different inciting incident. And because Pedro Pascal, big draw, they could change it so much. I don't think they would. But okay, they killed Tommy. And now it gives Joel a reason, like, we're going to Seattle to get this bitch.
But like,
he didn't. Why would they kill Tommy?
Yeah. Well, and it's not nearly. It means nothing to me at that point.
No, I don't care.
And Joel would not go for Tommy.
Yes, he would.
He's like,
yes, he would.
Nah.
He traveled across the country for him already.
I know, but this is remember.
Well, I guess he's also trying to deliver a girl.
Yeah, and remember what Joel we're talking about. Like that's like saying he wouldn't trust Abby. Obviously, he would. He's a dumb idiot. We know that from the first game, and he's a changed man, especially after the night he just had with the conversation with Ellie. He is.
He's a reborn. He's Christian now. He's been born again. He's baptized.
He's bathed in the light of Christ now. Yes. He can die happy, which he does.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. And he dies with Ellie. Like he gets to be with her or whatever. I've said that to you 100 times.
Yes.
But it's like, I don't know. He's a different guy.
If you had to die, wouldn't you want to die with the last thing you're seeing is your favorite person?
Exactly. And like he just made it up with her. And I think he knows that what's happening here is personal with him and Abby. So it's like, I did what I could. She was going to start to forgive me. I'll take the club for her, that kind of thing. And he's in the Christ position when they have him against the wall. Like you can't get, and he even has the wound. And okay, real quick for anyone,
his side. No.
For anyone who likes like King Arthur stuff, after Abby and Ellie, we slay ourselves, we fight against ourselves, kind of stuff. They have their fight.
Slay Queen.
She it's when she was about to cut Dina's neck, pushes her off. She stands up right up against a suit of armor. And it's like, she is a noble knight. She's taking the high ground. It's totally King Arthur stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was going to say, in the moment in the second game, and hopefully people will get this same feeling that I had when they said, oh, Joel, this is my brother Tommy, and they reveal who they are, and the change in the room, the atmosphere just, it changes.
Sound like y'all heard of us or something.
Yeah. And the speculation in my head, and I'm sure you too, like, who the fuck, what did they do? What did Joel do to them? And it made me go to the past and be like, okay, prior to Ellie and everything we see in the story.
I got nothing but nightmare from those days.
Those days are what I expected. These people were somewhere from back then.
Oh, okay, so it was that originally. That's what Druckmann wanted. But then...
It's so much better what they gave us, but...
It is and it isn't. It really puts a more bow on that decision that Joel made, and that being such a pivotal moment in the hospital. Like, Unhooker, the guy, like, gives 3 frames of no, and he just, without even looking at him in the show. So it's
if you had a daughter...
Yeah.
I don't even ask him to unhook her. I walk in the door and blow everybody's fucking head off.
Yeah, so, like, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, there we go. That's how... how important that is. How
insignificant Jerry's life is to him.
Yep.
I mean, because like to everybody, when you look at go back to the Middle East, a war going on over there, people dying. There's only 5,000 deaths that day, whatever, or something, right?
Yeah.
Every one of those is somebody's Jerry, somebody's Joel, somebody's kid.
Jerry. No, I totally understand, and it sucks. Like, and that's every letter you read in the game too, it's like that way. Everybody is having the same crisis that Abby and Ellie are having.
Get high and play this game.
Get
baked out of your mind and play, dude.
No,
it's everything's so much sadder when you're high and you care.
I was already like heading to the Rat King. And like I was
Resident Evil 2 vibes. Like I'm about to face off William G3 or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, this game's not supposed to give you that feeling. Why am I having this?
They did so good. Oh, I just want to say
I was terrified. I was a child again.
There's an Easter egg I forgot to bring up when we were talking about season 1, or I did and we never released it. Was her fake name in episode 1 when she's like chained up, Ellie, when she's like chained up at the Fireflies place. Her fake name is Veronica, and I think it's code Veronica.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Druckmann did that as a joke.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
So when you talked about just now about Joel shooting Jerry, like gives him a half a second. Okay, bam, you're dead.
Yes.
Every person in that building that we were just applauding him for walking through systematically killing everybody in that building. Every one of those is a Jerry to somebody.
Yes.
And to Joel,
yeah.
Jerry was just the same as the 3 other assholes in the hallway.
Yes. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
So brutal.
There's the casting line, or the line Troy Baker got from Druckmann was, Joel is a man who has few moral lines left to cross, and that's like what he gave him for, like, this is you, and whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. And that's what it was in his head when they were doing the first game.
That voice does not match that man.
Yeah, it's weird. And then his Indiana Jones voice, because he was Indiana Jones in the new game.
Okay. I hear it's a really good game. I hear there's like Nephilim in it and stuff.
I need to check this thing out.
Yeah.
Also, I already wrote it.
Your book. I can't wait to actually read that.
Yeah. Sorry.
You give it 2 months. You're over a year late for giving me those chapters, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
on 420.
I gave 2 other people January 1st as the date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's I'm disappointing everybody.
It's fine. The book sucks anyway.
Yeah, it's not great.
You
heard they do to Joel in my book.
A guy I listened to a podcast, and one of the guys' mothers was trying to write a book into her. She's like, it's like Harry Potter. It's gonna be like that. And it's like, this guy's like drugging a kid who lives on a bench. And it's like supposed to be in the fairy world, but doesn't seem like a fairy world. But he's like drugging a homeless kid and like trying to sell him into sex slavery.
This is the book?
It's part of the book. It's like one chapter area of this kid's story. But on the podcast, they reenacted it. Like they did like a radio play of it. And it was so good. And that was like almost 15 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. And she finally published that book on Amazon. Really? It's like all the fans are snatching up. I got to buy a copy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to say,
like, she's already built in thousands of buys.
Yeah. Well,
because of her son's podcast.
So you're saying I need to do that.
Yeah. We'll talk
about it. Hey guys, if you like The Last of Us 2, you might like the second
The Last of Us
book.
also, or The Last of Us 2?
2. TOO. No, but like, damn, I had a whole thing. Oh, the casting of Ellie. A stupid ass take, as they say, that's online in the last few months. But the closer we get, the more images of the season 2 Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying stuff about the way that she looks again, and a lot of she needs to be recast. And I was zero percent for people freaking out about season 1, saying that Bella did not look or wouldn't fit or that's not the character. So stupid, especially when they're saying that Bella never played the game and they were freaked out about that.
Who gives a fuck?
I'm like, this is a different thing, you guys. Come on. It's the character, and the character's essence is still there. But in season 1, she has a lot of the second game, her too. Like they're building that in her early. But anyways, about the recasting in season 2, here's the thing. I actually understand for once what they're saying, because she does look almost exactly the same in the leaked photo.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to age a character up 4 years that quickly, and this chick just doesn't age. Also,
yeah, and her genetics are different. Like her facial structure, just like she looks younger.
Yeah, that's why she could play a kid.
Yeah, Ellie. This live action Ellie she just looks younger. Like she can play a kid.
Yeah, like when she's playing Lyanna Mormont, which is pretty young character. She's still way older than that character, but she looks so young. She can pull this off. So you're never going to get her to age quick enough. And so I can understand a recast there if it worked.
Yeah.
If it was needed. But it doesn't need to be needed.
Yeah.
There's some people who just don't fucking age anyway.
Here's a good argument, too. If they take away Abby's muscles, because part of the whole thing was Ellie is shrunken and she's not eating.
Yeah.
And Abby is like rage steroids. I'm just in the gym and in the library. And it's like, so Ellie's not going to look that way in the show. She won't come off that way. They might have a plot about her refusing to eat or having trouble eating or sleeping. But like Abby and Ellie are not going to have those physical traits, but it's all going to be right here.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be in the way they deliver it.
Well, and if you have an Ellie that still looks like a kid, then you don't need an Abby that looks like fucking Arnold. Yeah. You just need somebody who's,
Yeah, but here's a huge problem, I think. They're going to be of a height. These two. The two actors are.
Sylvester Stallone's a midget, right?
No, but they're going to be like the same height. So Abby will not have, whenever they duke it out, or even within the presence, or when she's standing over Joel, she's going to be this petite gal. It's not going to be the same Abby. Which sucks because that Abby is so interesting.
Yeah. Just the play, like you think you're playing the game, the play style. You play as Ellie, you're sneaking around.
But when you're Abby.
When I'm Abby, I tank through everything.
Me too.
Like I do the same thing when I play. Like,
it's a running punch every time.
Yes. You do it with the bricks or the bottles ever?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But, just big meaty claws.
Like especially in how they have the no return or whatever is in the new game where you're just playing combat scenarios. Yeah. Like almost always play as Abby, and it's just berserker through everything. Like, I do the same thing I do when I play GTA 5. I play every character how I think that I should play them, like how
you get into the character.
It's like if I'm playing as Trevor, the crazy fuck, I'm just psychotic constantly and reacting that way. Yep. If I'm playing as Michael, I'm just like trying to be more calm, and it's like if something happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And if I'm playing as Franklin, like I try and just walk around on the street and talk shit to other gang members.
No, but that's okay. So you're doing that in The Last of Us.
But I do that in The Last of Us also. Like by playing an Ellie, I'm like, oh, I'm careful. I'm more sneaky. I'm gonna creep up on you and shank you. Yeah. I'm playing Abby, like it's full shotguns blazing. Yeah. Final scene, Scarface, rocket launcher under each arm.
Yeah, it's good. No, but that happens like when you're writing, you're in a character's head. Like you're in a scumbag's head. So like every like internal thought that he has is like or whatever. He thinks he's so cool, or she keeps making these dumb mistakes or whatever in the same way or whatever. But it's the same thing when you're in it. Like even when you were first playing as Abby and you could start punching for the first time and getting those combos.
You're like, ooh.
Because of her presence, I
felt like I can do this.
Yeah, I was like, getting in there. Yeah. I was like, this is which is really cool. The first time you're like really fighting in the game, you're her. And whatnot. You start as Joel, you're a little bit of Ellie, and then you're just Abby and you're in it. That's so cool. You have that little opening, like it's bookended. You do that, you have the whole game. Santa Barbara, back and forth a little again.
That game felt like Lord of the Rings in the 17 endings that followed.
Yep, constantly.
I was like, oh, it's over. Oh, it's not over.
Yeah.
And then her at the end, haircut, all like sucked up and emaciated.
The fingers?
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about Abby.
Oh,
I was talking about the good characters. Fuck Ellie.
Yeah, and like it totally changes who she is.
Yeah.
She's
Samson. From the Bible.
Oh, okay.
They cut her hair and took her strength.
Wow. That's probably intentional.
It might be.
And she was kind of crucified.
Yeah,
What's
on
really
that
funny
pole.
in those pillars, there's one person that's pillared up and she has the braid, and you're supposed to be drawn to her because
Yes.
she's silhouetted, and it's not her. You turn around, there's the actual Abby. The actor on the pole with the hair, the face on that person is Laura Bailey, who plays Abby. So
wow,
the fake
okay.
Abby's Abby.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And she was the nurse in season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's just it's great.
I don't know.
Season 2 on the way.
On the way, baby.
I don't know what else I have to say. Like, and I'll remember as soon as like we're done.
As soon as the camera's off.
I'm excited. What's really cool is I just want them to keep the tone of this, which is for the most part helpless and pointless and a cycle and like, why?
Dread,
I want that.
sad.
But if it's going to be split up seasons, it's going to be like a bunch of seasons of feeling like this. That's what's going to be a little weird.
Yeah.
Because like the end of the game, in my opinion, just like with the end of Evangelion or something, people think, oh, this is so dour and depressing. But the end of it is uplifting. Like she sets that guitar down and she moves on and she's evolving. She's being her own person. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And then credits, you get that song that they're singing, her and Joel.
Mhm.
And it's like, he has this whole thing like, I'm going there to meet my savior. It's really good. And it's like a good bow on Joel. And then you see the freaking Avalon Dome in Avalon on Catalina Island.
Yeah.
The new menu. And it's like, okay, we don't need a third game. We're done.
But apparently there is, right?
There is. And there needs to be. But like, it's beautiful. That's all you
I
need.
saw somebody talking about third game coming out, or that, it should be announced. They're hoping soon.
Yeah.
But it's like the sad thing about the third game is, this is going to be it. There's not going to be a 4. And there shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun.
There better not be how the Halo 4 of Last of Us. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh God. Like the Watch is
People
a
say that about
now.
like Lethal Weapon 4 too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Picture that though. The Watch goes like rampant or whatever happened in Halo 4.
The Watch goes rampant.
Yeah. And it's like Ellie and the Watch have like a romantic relationship now or something. Don't make a Watch a promise if you know you can't keep it. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
There was something I was thinking. When you were talking about those moments of Abby standing over Joel, like you're not going to have this imposing figure.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of examples in film where there's a character that is fucking terrifying, but they're a small little fucker.
Oh, I was going to say the sugar guy, but never mind. I don't know.
Like a character that doesn't exist.
Oh, Lex?
I was kind of thinking Lex, but like if Lex is standing over Joel, like he doesn't seem like, he's gonna do, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, but he's literally standing
over
Superman,
over a god,
dropping photos of his mother.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
a character that doesn't exist in anything but our minds is Clyde. Is the one I was thinking.
Oh,
of,
yeah.
which nobody's gonna know.
a character from like a story we had come up with. Yeah.
20 years ago, almost.
Yeah. Who's kind of like the Joker though.
He was very Joker. Like
he's the Joker. He's every character that's that creepy guy. House of Cards. Every character he ever played. What's that guy's name?
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Yeah.
Damn
Actually,
you, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, actually he played Lex too one time.
Yeah, he did.
In a pedophile's Superman movie. Let's hope a pedophile never gets to make a Superman movie again. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Excuse me, everybody.
Excuse me, everybody. No, let's hope that a guy with a questionable thoughts towards minors, let's hope that he doesn't get in charge of making a Superman movie ever again.
With Nathan Fillion in it.
Nathan Fillion is so good.
There's a show
I'm not even kidding. He's
called
good.
The Rookie where he's like current Nathan Fillion's like, I'm quitting my construction job. I'm going to go become a cop in LA.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Pretty good. And I'm like, I don't mind it.
I couldn't watch it.
No, we were talking about shows. I'm like,
it's like watching,
no, Jericho. I try and watch Jericho. Oh, no, we try to watch this new show. I don't know what it's called, but it's on NBC where it's like, there's this secret prison nobody knows about. And it's like the Hive of Resident Evil. It's like underground.
okay.
And it's all these like
It
serial
turned into
killers.
a Prison Break like reunion show.
Yeah, basically. But like, it gets blown up. Something bad happens and it gets blown up, and they recruit this chick who used to be an FBI agent. She's coming in to try and track down the one serial killer they know that got away. But he allegedly been put to death. That's what she thought. But, they put him in this secret prison for, I don't know why. But my wife was like, oh, the show's going to be good. Let's watch it. And like a few minutes in, like we're like, oh, this isn't as good as I was hoping. And I'm like, it's NBC. You can either get something really good, but more than likely you're not. You're getting something like.
They need to make sure everyone can watch it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like as good as like their shows get is like for like realism and a little more into it is like SVU, Law and Order. But I was like, it's like, I love Jericho. I love watching Jericho. I love the show. But every 2 seconds they go to commercial and Jake's got.
Yeah.
And they got to put the dramatic music in. Like, let the show be dramatic.
Yeah.
Redo that show and throw it on HBO, Paramount, anything else.
Yeah.
Let Taylor Sheridan write. No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
I said what they need to do, though. 1 second after a TV series.
Ooh, I should have grabbed the book.
On fucking... a good stream on a good service that can do it some justice and have it be brutal as it needs to be.
The problem is that it would be too different in ways that I think that you might not like as far as characters, locations, individual relationships between people would probably be too different. And Ernie Franklin might be like a dumbass from the beginning,
Yeah, like, you son of a bitch.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Washington Parker would be so fun to see on screen.
No, that's who I think. Whenever I read that book, in my mind, I see Sergeant Johnson.
Okay. But you're talking about Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David.
Yeah.
Give him the role. He's supposed to be old.
Yeah, he is.
Washington Parker's like in his 70s or something.
And they have Kurt Russell playing what's his name? And then it's like
Matherson?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
And then it's like
I'm fucking in.
An imitation, a perfect imitation. Anyways, we should Tommy! Okay, so it comes out in April something.
April, we don't know yet. Yes.
I think there's an actual date.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. April.
Okay.
2025.
All right. Which is so weird because I still remember when they announced the casting of Ellie like that far back. And it's like, whoa, damn. Wow. It just, I don't know, it flew by. We need to find an ending though.
I'm just glad they picked an honest to goodness American to play Abby.
Yeah, that's true, though. They did, right?
Yeah. Instead of some Brit. I'm just trying to give you the redneck ending.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to put on the trucker hat.
You ain't talking about some walk in the park here. Jesus, boy.
So, we just need a way to end the video.
I already did our opening when you weren't in here.
I know, but let's do a second one so that I can use that one.
We can't use that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you actually have something? Or
no, that was it.
That was bro joking, right?
Yes.
Hey, that's sick.
Jesus, boy.